So this problem says a scientist must mix two compounds using this inequality where Y represents how many grams of compound Y are used and X represents how many grams of compound X are used. Choose the correct graph of the inequality. So there's a lot of words here, but it's basically just asking us to graph this inequality. All right. Now, if I take a quick peek at my answer choices here, I can see that the line for A and B is exactly the same. It's just a difference of which side it's shaded on. That's the difference between A and B. C and D have different lines. And again, what I'm looking at is where they hit the y-axis. So this hits the y-axis here, this hits it here. But C and D have the same line. And again, the difference is just the shading. Well, when you have something in this form, this is called standard form, the easiest way to graph it is by finding the x and the y intercepts. So let's look at how to do that. So I have the inequality 7y plus 35x is less than or equal to 175. And I want to find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. So I'll do the y-intercept first, and then we're going to find the x-intercept. I was going to do that in a different color. So let's do this. Done. X-intercept. And that's going to tell us whether this piece is going to tell us whether it's down to A and B or down to C and D, because we're going to find out where it crosses the X and the Y axis. So how do I do this? Well, the y-intercept I know occurs where the x value is 0. So to find a y-intercept, all we do is simply plug in 0 for x, which will make this just go away because 35 times 0 is 0, and then I solve that. So I plug in 0 for x, and what I'm left with is 7y is less than or equal to 175. So now I just solve this. I divide both sides by 7, and I get y is less than or equal to 25. So this has a y-intercept of 25. So if I go and look at my graphs, this y-intercept looks like it's right between 20 and 30, so 25 looks about right. Whereas this one, I look and it's over 30. So it's definitely not C or D. The answer is going to be A or B. But just to be safe, let's check the x-intercept too. All right, so the x-intercept, I basically do the opposite. So the x-intercept occurs where y is 0. So if I look at the x-intercept, the y value over here is 0. So I plug in 0 for y, that makes this go away, and then I'll just solve what I have left. So I have 35x is less than or equal to 175. Divide both sides by 35. Don't know why I wrote that backwards. And that'll go away. And x is less than or equal to 5. So the x-intercept is at 5. This is right between 0 and 10, so 5 looks about right. This one's a little further over than this one, so this x-intercept here is greater than 5. So it's either A or B. All right, so now how do we figure out which of these is the correct shading? Well, I'll show you kind of the long way and then I'll show you the short way. In general, when you have an inequality and you're trying to figure out which side to shade on, what you want to do is take a point on the graph and plug it in for x and y and see if it's a solution to the equation. Now, the easiest point to pick is usually 0, 0. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug in 0 for y, 0 for x, and see if it's a solution to this. If it is a solution, that means 0, 0 is a good point. It's a solution, and that means all the solutions are on this side. And so that would tell me it's answer A. If 0, 0 is not a solution, then that means the solutions are on the other side of the line, and that would be this side over here. And that would give me answer B. Okay, so let's check the point 0, 0. So I'm going to plug in 0, 0. And when I do that, I get, so I'm just going to shortcut this. It becomes 0 less than or equal to 175. Because if you plug in 0 for x and 0 for y, you can see you'll just have 0 plus 0. And so it's just 0. So is this true? Is 0 less than 175? Yes, it is. So that means 0, 0 is a solution. And so the answer is going to be A. Now, I said there's kind of a shortcut. The shortcut is to understand what this is saying. And this is talking about a mixture of compounds. And when you mix those together, it has to be less than this number. So if it's got to be less than that, it makes sense that it's on this side, the solutions, the mixtures. Because if your mixtures were on this side, then you're going to end up with more than you need, right? So it's limited by these two terms here, and so it'd be the left side. All right, but just to be safe, plug in a point and check it. That's the best way to see which side of the inequality should be shaded. All right, so hopefully that helped you out. You're doing great. Keep it up. You're on your way to mastering the math.